everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ask a Death Doula. Death is having a rebirth. Yep, I just said it. Death is having a rebirth, and it's so wonderful because when we bring back the awareness that one day this journey will not be the way we know it today, and we get grounded in that, reduce the fear about that, it allows us to explore all the beautiful things, all the ritual, all the options that are available. And today we have lots of options. So when I say the rebirth of death, I'm talking about all the different things that are now open to us to make choices. And some of those choices that we're going to talk about today are about home funerals, readopting home funerals, or also known as home wakes, talking about eulogies being written in first person, and talking about funerals, putting the fun in funerals. And we're going to talk about a few people who've done that. So it's incredibly inspiring. There are so many positive things about today's topic that change the energy attached to the way we look at end of life. So on this episode, sit back and relax. We're going to go through the Good Death Seminar Series number 10, How Death is Having a Rebirth. And if you haven't already, I need to remind you that the Good Death Book Club is now officially launched. We are doing it every month. It is amazing. It has been incredible. If you have not signed up already, sign up. Make sure to sign up with the link below. You don't want to miss it. Okay, sit back, relax, enjoy the episode. Welcome. Hello, everyone. Welcome to our live event. We still have so many people logging on. Okay, let me see all your beautiful faces. If you can be on camera, we would love to see your gorgeous face. If not, that's okay too. Don't worry about it. But thank you all for being here. We have so many people logging on. I am going to let the team take over admitting people as they come in, please, so we can start. I want to welcome you to this event. Let's first jump in the chat. Let's see who we've got here. Hey, everyone. Okay, so there are lots of people, and thank you all for being here. Welcome, welcome. If you're joining, yes, hello from St. Petersburg to you too. Yes, hello, everyone. Canada in the house. Hello. Yes, Wendy, thank you. Melissa, thank you so much from Staten Island. Jennifer, Kim from Alaska. Yes, Lori from Flint, Michigan. More Canada in the house. Thank you so much, Sherry, for being here. Pamela's here. Stephanie is here. You guys are amazing. So let's just go ahead. We'd be here all night if I welcomed each and every one of you, but I am welcoming you all with an open heart, and thank you so much. And it's so great to see all of you here. It is just amazing. Yeah, I know you're having snow in a lot of places. Hello from South Africa. Yes, welcome, welcome. We are a global family, Marietta. So glad to hear that you're here, Mariette. All right. Yeah, okay. So let's see. You guys are amazing. Hello from Trinidad, Barbara, all over the US, you guys. Betty, thank you so much. I just love our global family. So what I am going to do, and I want to welcome you all and remind you that we will have an opportunity to answer your questions at the end of the presentation. We are live. This is interactive. You guys have been fantastic. I cannot believe we're on number 10. This is our 10th one. So without further ado, let me share my screen and bring us all into tonight's event, and we can talk a little bit about it. So the Good Death Seminar Series, this is number 10, and I can't even believe I'm saying that it's number 10. We're doing a total of 12, and they have been some of the greatest experiences, and I really hope that you have gotten exactly what you want out of this. By the way, they all stand alone, so you can come to one, you can come to all of them. We've had people that come to all of them, but they are live and they are interactive, and they are all unique in what they offer. And tonight is no different. I don't know which one. I feel like they're children. Like, how do you pick a favorite? But this one is really, really special because it's, again, the rebirthing of death, which we'll talk about, and the information that you're going to find in this could change a lot for you in many different ways. So welcome to the Good Death Seminar Series number 10. It is the rebirth of death. And I love saying it like that. From the minute that I started working in the space of caring for people, and then they would have their end of life, there was so many, to me, similarities with helping somebody out of this world than helping them in this world. And yet we're not doing nearly anything for the end of life until now, bringing back the awareness. So it really is the rebirth. Why do I say rebirth? Because we have been dying for thousands of years. It's just in the last 100, 120 that we've lost our way completely. My dog says hello. That's what happens when you're live, by the way. But this is really important to understand, because right now we have a complete removal of end of life, and that removal is making death 10,000, if not more, times harder than it needs to be. And also, in my opinion, it's your greatest teacher about life. So being aware of end of life and also the wisdom that comes with that. So welcome to the rebirth of death. Now, I shared with you that this is the 10th live event out of 12. So I just want to do a quick recap of what we've already done. The Good Death Seminar Series #1 was all about we just forgot. Just really kind of what I just said a minute ago, that we just forgot that death is a natural, sacred experience. And it's been thought of as that way for thousands of years by all different cultures and religions. And we just forgot. The second seminar series was about the hospice gap. And so this is where a lot of my platform is based on, being a former hospice nurse, an oncology nurse, and the gaps in that end of life space that we need to fill for families. The third seminar was advanced directives, talking about advanced directives and what you'd want for care, what you would not want, and how you put that in writing. And also the secret pearl of how you make them legal medical orders. Seminar #4 is all about the healthcare proxy, the person that you choose to speak for you if you're not able to speak for yourself. And again, it's speaking the wishes you've already chosen. So that seminar was all about the incorrect verbiage that's being used with sharing about the healthcare proxy. And then how do you pick one? So what do you need to know, and how do you choose the right one for you? Good Death Seminar #5 was, what does quality of life mean to you? And that is the benchmark for how we should choose when we want to pursue aggressive treatment or when we want to focus on comfort measures. Good Death Seminar Series #6 was how to ensure the best end-of-life experience for you. The 9 essential questions we went over. Good Death Seminar Series #7, how to have a family conversation about your end-of-life wishes. Yeah, a little uncomfortable, sure. A little uncomfortable, yes, but saves your family 1,000 times of the suffering that they will go through when they don't have a roadmap, when they don't know what you want. It's one of the greatest gifts you can give to them. Good Death Seminar #8, dementia, how to avoid caregiver burnout, and what to do when families don't agree on end of life care, which, by the way, if there's not a clear statement about what you would want or not want, families usually do not agree. And then seminar #9 was the 3 most common end of life phenomena. And this just, for me, changed everything, completely changed everything. When I was seeing it with all different cultures and religions, people saying the same things as they get closer to departing this world about what they want you to know, but different experiences that they were having and how common they are. And it's so inspiring, healing, and empowering, this whole conversation. So I want to quote Viktor Frankl, because there's just so many great people in this space, but he's just one of them. And he says, death opens us up to the true reality of our inner being and selfhood. When you befriend death, you really crack open your reality and your inner being. And we'll go a little bit more into that tonight. But this is really important to know, because maybe the greatest teacher about how to navigate this very intense world as we know it is in the awareness and the education around end of life. And I'm going to say wholeheartedly that it is. So let's just for a minute remember, what is the sacredness of death? So for centuries, death was seen as a sacred rite of passage, just like birth, marriage, all of that, a ceremonial event marking the transition from one state of being to another, just one state of being to another. Many ancient cultures viewed it as a moment of reverence and spiritual awakening. How beautiful is that? But in modern times, we've grown distant from this sacred connection to death. By reclaiming this understanding, we can help both ourselves and our loved ones face the end of life with love, with acceptance, and with wisdom. And I'm going to take it a step farther. When it says we've grown distant from the sacred connection to death, death is the number one fear in the world right now, the number one fear in the world. Something that all of us will be touched by, not just with those we love, but with ourselves. How did it become the number one fear? And does it need to be? I'm going to say absolutely not. And the time is now. The time is now to bring death back as the natural, sacred experience it was meant to be. And the time is now to get the skills on how to care for someone at the end of life back into the hands and hearts of every family caregiver. That is how Doula Givers Institute started almost 2 decades ago. This is one of the main, if not the main platform that everything branches off of. And those are the two things that need to happen and are happening now. And that's the shift. And not just is it the shift for end of life, it's the shift for life. This is how we change our world, by understanding what the true reality and learning within the education of the awareness of death is. Everything that we have to bring into our daily lives to show up to change this world. Very exciting moment. And so let me just share with you that the power of heart-centered presence, I want to just share with you what I learned immediately working with those at the end of life. The power of heart-centered presence, when we focus on death, is more than a biological process. So when we can go beyond and we can understand it as that sacred experience, it reveals profound distinctions between the human ego part of us and the heart-centered wisdom soul part of us. You really have two parts of you, the human and the being. And you see this at the end of life, and you see the awareness when people get their spiritual eyes, which is life-changing. Ego-based guidance, your human part of you, are decisions that are driven by fear, driven by power, driven by control, driven by, I need to get it before someone else gets it. Heart-centered guidance, your wisdom, your heart-centered directional, are choices grounded in love, in connection, and the recognition of life's sacredness, also that we're all connected to one another. Everything, everyone, everything. And so when you embody that and understand that, and understand how the ego works, changes your whole way that you're living your life. Because you can understand choices that come in or decisions that might come in from your mental, analytical ego mind, but then you can catch it and you can say, where is that coming from? And if it's not coming from an aligned place of love, then it's a wrong choice. And you'll find that out through multiple ways, as we all know. That's the human, that's the school of life. Welcome to the school of life. It is what it's supposed to be. But learning this can change everything for you and also help you to find your purpose in life. And if I may, I'd like to introduce myself. My name's Suzanne O'Brien. I am a registered nurse by trade. I am a former hospice, which is end-of-life care nurse, and oncology nurse, which is cancer care nurse. I have over 20 years of experience. I've worked at the bedside, been honored and privileged to work at the bedside of over 1,000 patients from all around the world. And I've trained over 369,000 people to care for the dying. What an incredible honor. But if you think about it, how many people we have in the world that we're all going to be called to show up for someone we love at the end of life. That's just a drop in the bucket. We have a long way to go. And I am proud to say that Doula Givers Institute now has the level 1 family caregiver training in 15 languages available for free on our website, doulagivers.com, and we do lots of free education. So that has been one of the main intentions and drivers. And again, that is a big number, 369, but we're just in the beginning of what we need to do and make sure that every family caregiver is supported with its education, because a positive end of life should not be a privilege. It should be a human right. And we're here to make sure that happens. Now, why would I spend my money, my time, and it is an amazing thing how much work has been done in this space, and we're so grateful that people show up. But why would I come on and do live webinars and make education and do so many things for free? Why is that important? because I was really stirred by what I saw as a mainstream hospice nurse in mainstream medical. And if, let's go with hospice, which is a beautiful model of care, if the concept and model of hospice is that the hospice nurse is supposed to teach the family how to do the care, which was determined by Medicare, that 98% of the hands-on end-of-life care is done by family caregivers. They usually don't know the first thing about how to do that. And as a hospice nurse, I was only there for 1 hour once a week. If my patient was stable, people come on services very late, the fear is in front of us. It's impossible to train them how to fully take care of this loved one. And it's not going well. It's not going well. So I finally got so frustrated, developed a training in its 3 phases, how to care for somebody at the end of life to give to families. And I went to the CEO of the hospice and I said, end of life's not going well for most of the families. We need to do more. He said, that's all we could do. We can't offer more. And, you know, the minute we put a dollar amount and a time limit on end of life, I think we're doing something wrong. And so I showed him the training and he said, this is great. Can't do it. And I said, why? He goes, because we won't get reimbursed for it. So that reimbursement, everything is like the reimbursement structure was so frustrating that finally I said, well, don't reimburse. I don't care about reimbursement. I'll go give it for free at the library on the weekend and see whoever wants to take it, take it. And it filled up. And then I put it live online. And here's what I'll say to you. My thinking back then was that if I help one family learn these skills and have a better end of life, a positive end of life for those they love that they can't go back and do again, it's a win. It's worth everything. But now we've helped so many more. And I think, again, we're just at the beginning of this. So my why is that I have a whole bunch of experience in this space that happens to be the #1 fear in the world. And I'm going to share everything I know to help you feel empowered to care for your loved one, to feel inspired about life, and also to help us heal from this traumatic grief that we're suffering from today because we don't talk about end of life. In this seminar tonight, you will learn what are home wakes and home funerals. Exciting topic. Discover the revival of this ancient practice, its emotional and financial benefits, and how to host one. We're going to talk about what is a funeral. Funeral. Learn how turning the traditional funeral into a joyful celebration, if you so choose, can redefine end-of-life experiences with laughter, love, and healing. Celebrating that life. And I'm going to give you some examples of people who've done it. And then I'm going to take you on a journey of how to write a first person eulogy. And I have a eulogy right here in first person that I am going to try to read without shedding tears. And I think I can do it. And it's not tears of sadness per se. It's a mixture of just the beauty and the love of that experience. So how to write a first person eulogy, that's coming back as a popular choice, and the reasons why it's such a good choice. And I'm going to give you a step-by-step guide on creating deeply personal eulogies written in the voice of the deceased, the first person, leaving a powerful and lasting connection with their loved ones. Part number 1. What are home wakes and home funerals? So what it is. For centuries, families and communities took care of the ones after death through home wakes and home funerals. Beautiful traditions that were overtaken by the professionalization of the funeral industry in the early 20th century. Today, these practices are regaining traction, having a rebirth, offering a meaningful alternative to standard funerals in formal settings. And again, there's no pointing fingers here. We're not trying to say that anyone's doing anything wrong. I feel like when we've removed the truth and the seeing and all that goes with end of life, we've forgotten that we have many, many choices around this, and some that are extremely healing on many different levels, which we'll talk about. So today, these practices are getting a rebirth and gaining traction, offering, again, meaningful alternatives to the standard funeral in formal settings. So you can have whatever you want. The point is that you have choices. What are the benefits of home wakes and home funerals? So one of the main ones is slowing this whole process down. slowing down the sacred moments. Home wakes create a space to truly connect with grief and remembrance, free from the time constraints of traditional funeral homes. Environmental responsibility. They allow you to avoid invasive and toxic procedures like embalming, which many people are under the assumption that it's required by law. It is not, by the way. So you want to know that you can opt for eco-friendly preservation, like using dry ice or something called Techni ice, again, if you so choose. So benefits of home wakes are slowing down this process, which to me might be one of the most important things. The environmental responsibility, another major thing I think that we all are aware of right now, our environmental impact of our choices. Empowerment and healing. Caring for a loved one's body at home fosters a sense of love, of healing, and presence for both families and communities. It allows a container for your grief and your emotions. It allows you to put into practice things to help. That's very cathartic to do that. And financial savings. Let's just be honest. Dying is so expensive today, and it shouldn't be. A home funeral can cost less than $200 if you so choose and want it that way, but it's your choice. Now let's talk about the average funeral in the U.S., and that's a range. Here's the average for it: $7,848 for a traditional funeral and home service. But this is all about choice. So there's nothing wrong with choosing that, but you need to know you have choices. And a lot of people do not know they have choices. So in addition to all of the other things that we talked about for the benefits, it's significant savings while maintaining meaningful traditions at the same time. You know, if you know me at all, I love a win-win situation, and I love a win-win-win if we can get it. And this really is one of them. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into what that experience may look like. Let's take this example. So here is a story of a patient named Jared. And Jared was a 17-year-old in the throes of his life, beloved by absolutely everybody and made everyone feel special. You know, you have those people who just make everyone in their world feel like the only person in their world, and what a gift that is. And he had, at 17, he had a motorcycle accident that ended his life tragically and quickly. And this story is documented in a documentary called In the Parlor by Heidi Boucher. And it's a wonderful story about home wakes and home funerals. And this family, in trauma, in sudden trauma, had the awareness, not sure how, but had the awareness to bring Jared home and have a home wake. And you see in this documentary, from debilitating trauma that everyone was inconsolable on the first day, to the 3-day wake of people at the end of that third day rejoicing and singing, and somehow their pain and their emotions went from this space to this space in 3 days. And his mother will say that at the 3-day mark, where people were celebrating the love of him, was euphoric and blissful. And so I thought, when I saw this years ago, that if that can be what happens in a traumatic, sudden end of life in a 3-day period, what can it do for everyone else? So the 3-day, after much, research, and I've done a lot of it, and it's in the Good Death book, all of this, is there are many different religious writings about 3 days: the 3-day funeral, the 3-day wake, the 3-day process, something about releasing the body, releasing the people who are part of it, acknowledging, taking it in that that person actually has their end of life. The mind says, yes, that person is not breathing, but here's what I think is happening, and this has been stated: the feeling of love of that person is felt. And not only is it felt after their body ceases to breathe anymore, but sometimes it's stronger, what people describe, and more omnipresent of love than they've ever felt before. So something allows them to take in the fact that that person is still going on, is still here, is still present. And there's something incredibly healing and powerful about that that happens in that circumstance. So again, if it can be achieved in a traumatic, sudden end of life for a young person like this, imagine what it can do for everyone who considers having that 3-day wake, not just for the family, but for everyone involved. So how to plan a home wake or a funeral? So you want to understand your local laws. You want to familiarize yourself with the regulations in your state or country regarding at-home care and burial of the deceased. So in the United States, we have all the states have their different rules and regulations. I'm going to give you a resource in a minute that you can easily find out about yours. So you want to understand what's required by a funeral director, what's not required, anything that you need to know to have one of these beautiful home wakes or home funerals. By the way, a home funeral and a home wake is the same thing. It does not mean a home funeral does not mean you're burying your loved one in the backyard. It means we're talking about the same thing of having that celebration of after death in the home. Number 2, preservation and care. So depending on, again, where you live, what type of climate it is, you want to make sure that you're preserving the body, and it depends on how long you're going to keep that person home. You can either use dry ice or something called Techni ice that is a very good option to preserve the body for viewing. Number 3, you want to personalize the ceremony. Slow down in this process. Make it unique and detailed and invite guests to share stories, decorate the casket. This has been done by many, many people, having people decorate their casket or create photo boards to honor the deceased. Again, what are the gifts that that person gave to you when they were in this journey that will never go away? So celebrate that and invite people to celebrate in this communal event. Remember, home wakes are not only about taking care of a loved one's body, they're about caring for each other. We're all touched by, I often will say, that person that is at the end of life. Every single person that is attached to that person is experiencing this. Coworkers, family members, neighbors, friends, family, grandchildren, all of it. And so we want to create communal support and ways to come together in this moment. So how to plan a home wake or funeral? Here's your resource that's one of the best, is your homefuneralalliance.org. They're an amazing website. They will have a state-by-state listing, so you can go right to your state and see what is required by law, what you need to know. They'll also have a way for you to find what are called home funeral guides. So if you would like to have one of these for your loved one, I highly recommend getting a home funeral guide or somebody who can do this for you. Don't take all of the responsibility to try and figure this all out. Be present, be as present as you possibly can here. And these are amazing people that know how to do this and have done this often. So homefuneralalliance.org is the resource. Part number 2. What is a funeral? And yeah, there's the fun. So a funeral, as coined by celebrated participants like Shotzi, is an alternative approach to memorials that embraces joyful celebration while honoring the transition of death. Think of it as a vibrant party filled with love, music, and laughter. So I want to share with you about my friend Shotzi. We could do a whole hour. No, we could do a whole day, week on Shotzi. So Shotzi is an amazing, amazing woman. She was my co-host of Death Cafe New York City from 2017 until we got shut down during the pandemic. And she's a former nurse and she is a death educator, and she is just an amazing human being, just a wonderful person. And she decided she was getting up in age, and I forget exactly how old she was. I want to maybe say she was 89 or 90 in perfect health, and said, well, how much longer can it be? It can technically, but let's see. I want to have a funeral. I want to have a funeral. And she had 100 people. She invited 100 people that were in the community room of her New York City apartment. There was music, there was dancing, there was food, there was singing, and people were decorating her casket. She had that. And then she gave this speech about life and end of life and her thoughts on it. And we're just indebted to her for all the work that she has done. So she's a real pioneer in this space, and we're super glad to be able to share her story and lead by her example, if that's what you choose. And I'll tell you, it was a great party. It was a wonderful party. Living wakes and living funerals. A living wake allows a person to participate in their own celebration of life while they're still alive. Now, how does that sound? I mean, my mother has major party FOMO, like major party FOMO. And so when somebody's celebrating you and they're all saying wonderful things, maybe you want to be part of that. Maybe you'd like to have this opportunity. It's an empowering and joyful opportunity for family and friends to express love and appreciation directly to their loved ones. And you know as well as I do, sometimes we wait on what is unsaid. And sometimes we miss that opportunity. I wish I could have told her. I wish I could have said what she really meant to me. Let's do that now. Let's take that doula giver pearl away from this webinar now. Don't wait. But it's an empowering thing that we can do. And again, we can be in the presence that we know that one day the journey will not be as it is today. And what an incredible perspective that is on the level of gratitude that we then have every single day. The benefits include fostering closure and connection. Loved ones can say their goodbyes and express gratitude, while the individual can find immense peace in hearing how much they're cherished. Look, we all want to know that we made a difference at the end of our lives. We want to look back and think we made a difference. We left this world a better place because we were in it. We touched the people. We touched people we didn't know. Maybe we did something that will carry on long before or long after we're here. We want to know that. We want to have that sense. And so allowing people to share that with you is an amazing opportunity for both of you. Creating creative and meaningful moments. So living funerals can include everything from heartfelt speeches like Shotzi's to themed parties, which she had like such an amazing, robust party, and even backyard gatherings for those on a budget. This does not require big spend, nor should it. And I think we have to get out of our heads that we need to spend so much money to honor people at the end of life, to validate it. That's wrong. In fact, I think that there are more beautiful gatherings when they are heartfelt and thought out rather than, big to do, spending a lot of money. I just think making it personal is incredible. In a backyard setting on a nice day, what could be more magical than that? It's pretty magical. Pro tip, get creative. Music, art, you can kind of have a couple of things within that event. Personalized playlists or even a flash mob. I don't know who's thinking about that, but okay. Can make these events deeply meaningful and reflective of the person's passion. So I just did a little teaser there. Obviously, I've put a lot of thought into this, and I really want to have people celebrate what contribution and that I had in this world to them and their friendship and all of the things that we go through. Dance, music, celebrate the life, and be just grateful because it's never going to go away. That love will never, ever go away. And Mary. So Mary was a young woman. She was a friend of mine, is a friend of mine, love her so much, in her late 30s. And the reason that I bring this up is because, first of all, I want to honor the rock stars that are paving the way, like Shotzi and Mary. But Mary was, and this is the thing that was really, really difficult for everyone. She was the just poster girl of, again, just like Jared, she just made everyone feel loved and like they were the only person, in the room with her. And she was her laughter is infectious. And the beacon of what you look like with health, volleyball player and, just a nurse, and just, had this infectious laugh. And she got cancer in her 30s, and she had treatments, and for a while, a couple of years, she was doing okay. And then it came back. And when it came back, it was stage 4. And her doctors told her that there wasn't, well, I digress. There might be something they could try, but it was an outside chance it would do anything. And Mary was incredibly strong. And she also, and I thought this was so interesting and beautiful, is that Mary found herself, because everyone fell apart around her, having her be so young and all of it. She was caring for everyone else. She was telling them how to treat her and how to navigate what they should say and what they shouldn't say. And she decided to have a living wake. And look at her, she has her wedding dress on, and what a great, incredible party, and what a gift that was for everyone. And I'll tell you, that just is like, that image is exactly who she is, just in the moment, having fun, sharing love, sharing laughter. And you can see, and that had to be put together rather quickly, but it gave everyone a great opportunity to celebrate her, and they have those memories forever. We love you, Mary. So let's do a group discussion. We're going to open up the chat in a minute, and I want to ask, how many of you are now considering, and it's just a consideration of a home wake or home funeral, and why? Why may that be? So I'm going to open up the chat here. We're going to open it up, and I'm going to take a look, and let's see. So again, I want to see anyone now thinking that this might be an option that you are actually considering. Okay, Sue, yeah, definitely. You guys are great. I love that. Sherry says closure is at home. I love that. I love that. I love that. Great. Not yet, but feeling inspired. Yes. Janae says yes, to save money. For sure. Like, that is a consideration. Yes. Great memories. Yes. I'm now thinking of this. Yes. Okay. So have to check your state requirements. Every state allows you to have one. Every state, you are allowed to have one. The question is, do you need to know if you need a special permit for 3 days and the body transfers? But every state's allowed to have one. So if you want one, this is your right. Yeah, I never thought of it. Totally. Yeah, love it. I am. Home wake, absolutely. Love it. I don't know about Canada, Kathy. I have to check into to Canada. Love this so much, you guys. Yeah, here you go. Pamela says Canada allows home funerals. Of course, yes, let's do it. Yeah, beautiful. Absolutely. I feel, yeah, this is great. So I'm very inspired by all of you. So here's what I'm going to say to that, is that when we care for people at home, so 9 out of 10 people want to be cared for at home at the end of life. Why aren't we just continuing that care at home? Why aren't we just continuing the care at home? Why do we hit the call button and have the funeral home come and whisk that body away? And no, I mean, if you want, that's a choice, but I want you to know you have choices. And some of these choices have benefits across the board: spiritually, emotionally, financially, environmentally. Like, what are we doing with not talking about all this? I am teaching a flash mob, Lynn says. Love that. Okay, so amazing. Okay, I'm going to quiet the chat again. You guys are so inspiring, super inspired by all of this. All right, let's get back to it. Let's talk about, oh, I do hope I can get through this. I'm going to really try writing a person in first eulogy. And the reason, and I'm not saying that I can't get through it because of that I'm overcome with sadness. There's almost so much love that I feel in these words. And by the way, I want to share with all of you, when I did the audiobook for The Good Death, which we just finished last week, when I did this section, because this eulogy I'm going to read in first person is in the book, the engineer came out crying. I mean, I didn't, but he was just so moved by it. So it's a beautiful thing to be moved. So let's talk about what this is. It's a heartfelt eulogy is often the centerpiece of a funeral or memorial service, while traditionally written by someone close to the deceased. There's a rebirth, there's a growing interest in first person eulogies, a truly personal way for the deceased to speak directly to their loved ones. I've never felt anything more powerful than somebody not physically being here in this body anymore and them addressing their loved ones. Never felt anything more powerful than this. So the power of the first person eulogy, hearing the voice of the deceased provides an unparalleled sense of connection and comfort to grieving families and friends. It celebrates the individual's character, humor, and personality in their own words, creating a truly memorable and healing experience. I'm going to tell you that I believe even your best friend, even your closest family member probably would not say exactly what you would say about yourself or what you want people to know. So this is your opportunity, and it's important for you to have that opportunity. So how do we write a first person eulogy? Start with gratitude. Begin by thanking those in attendance and acknowledging their importance in your life. Then share your story. Tell them a brief version of your life story, highlighting key moments, relationships, and lessons learned. I think like when people at the end of life impart their wisdom before they leave, it is the most priceless wisdom that we can ever get. They are not trying to sell you anything. They are not trying to do anything other than from this heightened, enlightened space want to tell you what they want you to know to make the world and your life the best it can possibly be. Reflect on values. What values or life philosophies do you hope to leave behind? Share insights or wisdom that define your legacy. We all have challenges in life. And, you know, today I was talking with the doula givers on the DSI-DMA, and I said, you know, the obstacles and challenges and painful experiences we go through, many times the more painful it is, the more growth is there on the other side of that. What have you learned from that that you can impart to other people so that they can not have to necessarily try and navigate through all of this stuff that sometimes takes a lot of time, years? If you can impart what you've learned, it can really help people. Inject personality. What's your personality? Use your humor, your heartfelt messages. Is there something that's unique to you, or anecdotes? It's your voice. It's your voice, and it's really important for them to hear that. And end with love. Conclude with a message of love and encouragement for those you leave behind. This is your moment, and this is your gift to them. All right, first person eulogy, Mr. Miller. Okay, we're going to do this, guys. So here we go. Let me move this. The idea of writing your own eulogy is daunting, but I love the idea of having the last word. All joking aside, what I truly love about this is getting to tell you all how I feel about you after I'm gone, or at least appear to be gone. I firmly believe that I'm still here with you. It's just that you can't see me anymore. I always did want to be invisible, so I guess now's my chance. First of all, I want you all to know how much you mean to me. Each and every one of you has had a positive impact on my life, even though we may have not gotten along at every moment. And to my wife and kids, you were and are everything to me. There are no words to express what you brought to my life. And I am so grateful to have had each of you. I was one very lucky guy. You were the sun, the moon, and all the planets and stars. I promise to watch over you forever. And when it's your time to join me, I will welcome you with heavenly kisses and hugs. I know my illness put you through a lot, but I am amazed by how you handled it all with such grace. As you walk through your days without me there physically, just know that I'm still supporting you and loving you no matter what. Do I wish I could have stayed around to meet my grandchildren? Sure. But I will know them from afar and I will watch over them too. I'm also grateful that I had a chance to say goodbye to everyone while I was still with you physically. This was an enormous blessing. All of you who visited me, I want you to know it meant so very much. And if you didn't get a chance to visit me, that's perfectly okay. I can feel your love and I appreciate it more than you know. I want to say thank you to everyone for making my last weeks and days so peaceful and truly beautiful in many ways. While it was painful to say goodbye, it was also so profound and spiritual and sacred. I've never experienced anything else like it. And it seems fitting that my last experience in a body would be so expansive, mind opening, and heart opening. As for regrets, I've had a few. As the song says, I regret losing my temper, not reaching out as much as I could have, not telling people I love them as much as I should have. As most of you know, I could be really stubborn and I had a temper. Sometimes I was unyielding and I could be unforgiving at times too. I regret wasting time with pride and lack of forgiveness. I want to say that again. I regret wasting time with pride and lack of forgiveness. If I'm going to offer you any advice, it would be to put your ego aside and just love everything and everyone as much as you can. It would be to enjoy every moment you can to the fullest. In the midst of whatever brings you pain, don't forget to notice all the beauty that exists. There's a lot of it if you just look. I have also regretted not doing some of the things I always wanted to do. But from my perspective now, as I sit here and write this in my last days, what I didn't do no longer matters much. From this vantage point, I really did live a full life and my bucket list is complete. All of my previous complaints are in the past. I let them go like little balloons in the sky. Besides, what I did get to do was a lot. I got to have a career that went beyond what I ever thought I'd accomplish. And I got to travel to some beautiful places. I got to express myself through my painting, and I got to appreciate the art that others created. All of that was wonderful, but nothing compares to the extraordinary family I got to be a part of. The moments I got to spend with the people in my life, that's what I'm carrying with me the most. When I was young, I dreamt of wealth, of greatness, of and fame, but now I see that foolish. It really isn't about the what, it's about the who. And in that regard, I have been wealthy beyond measure. Seeing the Great Wall of China will never compare to watching my 2-year-old perform in the Christmas play. I hope you'll remember me as someone who tried to be a good person and who loved deeply, someone who often fell short but came to a place of peace and acknowledgement that love is all that matters. To my wife, Beth, I knew you were my wife from the minute I saw you at the pep rally the first year of college, and that knowing never changed in all of our years of marriage. To my son, Eric, you have healed parts of me that I never knew were broken. I'm so proud of the man you have become, and I can't wait to have a front row seat from the other side to what you do next. To my daughter, Jenny, you have become so much more than I could have imagined. Your ability to make me laugh has been unprecedented, and your talent just blows me away. Always believe in yourself, honey. To my brother, Griff, I know we haven't always seen eye to eye, but I have always respected you and have appreciated the support you've given me. I'll never forget the days that we spent on the ice together. Live well, you hockey puck. To my best friend, Phil, thank you for taking over the workload of the business when I got sick and was going through treatment, you allowed me the greatest gift of all, spending these last precious months with my wife and children. You have been an extraordinary partner and ally. Meanwhile, I ask those of you who are so inclined to check in with my family periodically to see how they're doing, maybe in the next few weeks, stop by with a casserole or a casserole or a picnic to offer to take someone fun. So I guess my final word has to be thank you to each of you. Picture me standing in front of you one at a time, telling you how much I appreciate you. Picture me standing in front of you whenever it crosses your mind, reminding you not to give up, to remember you are loved, and to remember to love. I'll close with a quote from Winnie the Pooh. If there ever comes a day when when we can't be together, keep me in your heart. I will stay there forever. I love you all. Okay, so you can choose whatever you want. So I did not get through that without some tears. And it was just because when I hear the love of addressing children and family and the wisdom and truth there, it's so loving. And there's sadness at the same time, but it's just so moving. So take a minute before we do the questions, take a minute and what do you think it would feel like to hear words, heart-centered words from someone you love that has recently departed in their physical body, speaking to you in a moment after the fact? So powerful. So let's do a group discussion question. Would you consider writing your eulogy in first person? If you say yes, why? Like, why do you think that might be? So we can even just go with yeses or nos, or if you'd like to share, maybe why. Let's open the chat for a minute. And let's just see who is, Gina says, I've already written mine. Love that. I love that. One says, yes, I would even record it or do a video. Beautiful. Yeah. Karen says, beautiful, because no one knows me better than I know myself. No one can speak for me. Beautiful. I love that. Yeah. Laura says, wow, first person eulogy. Yes, yes, and yes. Yes. So healing, says Steph. Yes, Diane said, absolutely. As you said, no one knows you better. Yeah, you can say things to people after you're physically not here. Yeah, Sherry says, yes, I have already. I love that. Amy says, yes, you get a chance to tell your loved ones how you feel and no regrets when it is too late. Love that so much. Beautiful, guys. Yeah, Patricia says, yeah, it's like speaking from the grave. Yeah, it's like we go on 100%. No one else has to write it, Tara said. Love that. Thank you, Mary. Some of you already have it, which is like amazing. Laura says, I would definitely do it so my family can still feel like I am still there. Yeah, when I tell you, and I've been around this space for a long time, when I tell you that it's the most powerful thing I have ever experienced hearing these words that are being addressed to people that are in mourning, that love that person that is no longer here, like they're still right there. It's unparalleled. It's unparalleled. Thank you guys. Really amazing. Okay, I'm going to quiet the chat. Thank you so much. Wow. Beautiful, beautiful. When we're talking about doing our our legacy eulogy, right? What is one thing that comes to mind for you that you want people to know? What is one imparting thing that you want? What would you want to leave? Let's open that chat again for a minute. What would you want people to know? Just what's on the top of your head. Interesting when we do get down to it and really strip away the ego. You heard Mr. Miller. Remember to love, be thankful. I love that. Remember my love. I love that. That they are loved. Love that. Love that. Forgiveness. Janice, love that. So beautiful. Gosh, you guys. Love never dies. Love that. I need to keep this thread. This is gorgeous. Beautiful. That I have no ill will. I love that. I wish you only peace. I wish you only peace and love. Ah, gorgeous. You guys got this. So I am going to plant one little seed for you, if I may. Something that I'm going to share with you that you can, I'm going to invite you to take this in. Consider, please consider these beautiful statements, not waiting till you're not here, but you can also, what I do is write love letters when things strike me and put them in a box for when I'm not here anymore that come about. Um, yeah. But some of these things that you all shared, I think they'd be beautiful to be shared maybe while you're here. So I want to invite you to consider some of that when we talk about forgiveness and life is short and you are loved, that maybe we can spread some of these right now, and not wait till after. They can be there as well, but I'm inviting us to consider bringing that into our world now. It's amazing how transformative some of this work can be. So thank you for that. Okay. Now let's continue on. I wanted to share with you and reiterate some common wisdom from the dying. Again, from when we started out with death being a sacred experience, regardless of their beliefs or backgrounds, those nearing end of life often share remarkably similar insights about life and beyond. Here are 4 truths that are frequently spoken by the dying. Number 1, there is no death. So if death is the number 1 fear in the world, and people that get closer to death are saying there is no death. By the way, this is also what is being found in studies with people taking psilocybin that are terminally ill and have a real fear of death. It breaks open that part of consciousness to them, that they say there is no death. Near-death experiences, everyone is reporting the same things that they see and know. Number 2, everything happens for a reason. There is no judgment, and that is a really defining statement, because if we're all on our path for learning and we're not being judged, we're our own hardest critics. But if we're being given an opportunity or a lesson for learning to evolve and we're not being judged, we shouldn't judge ourselves, but we should also not be judging others. That we are all connected to one unconditionally loving energy. If we embodied that and knew that, would we be bombing each other? Would we wish each other ill? Would we be hurting the planet? Would we be doing some of the things that we're unconsciously doing? Or would we look at things a very different way? These profound lessons offer comfort, they offer healing, and they offer a change in perspective, not just for the dying, but for the living as well. Changed my life completely when I started working with those at the end of theirs. Very common. They talk about, I'm going home, and it's not a physical home, it's a spiritual home they're talking about. And when they talk about going back to that one unconditional loving energy, there is such a serenity and peace to it. We have got to be paying attention. It teaches us about life. And again, I know many of you, if not some, know the story of Maureen, but I need to share this again because this, especially in the time frame that it was, we could be here all night talking about the stories at the end of life, which maybe we'll do one day. But here's Maureen's story. She was 44 years old, came into the oncology unit, gallbladder cancer, broke her hip because the chemotherapy was brittling her bones. And I was working Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Friday, she comes in. By Saturday, ended the shift. She's breathing hard. She has no lung issues. That night, they do tests, find out she has a pulmonary emboli, not a good thing. By Sunday, she's heavy breathing, she's short of breath. And by Sunday night, she had her end of life. But here's what I want to tell you, that when that doctor came in at 3:00 in the afternoon on Sunday, I went into the room with her. We walked through the door together. And Maureen says to the doctor, I just want to thank you for everything you've done for me. And I turned to look at the doctor's face, and tears were going down the doctor's face. Maureen was telling us that she was going to die before any of us called it. But here's what I want you to know. They said that that night she woke up from a sleep at about 10:30 on that Sunday night and said, get my sister, I'm transitioning, with like all the excitement that you would expect from an 8-year-old child that you told you're going to Disney World. Her sister comes back into the room. They go get her. And she goes, I'm transitioning, again, with all the excitement. And I don't even know back in the day if I knew the term transitioning. I don't even know if I knew it, definitely not using it. So what I want to say to you is, what did Maureen see? And what did she know? There's a time when our physical bodies are diminishing and our spiritual bodies are growing, where I feel like people have one foot in this world, one foot in the next. They can see where they're going. I believe sometimes they go back and forth before they fully go. What did she see and what did she know was going to be her next part of her journey that not only brought her peace, but excitement? And so, have we removed one of the greatest teachers about how to live, but also something that can change our perspective about the way we're traumatically running in the opposite direction of planning for end of life, living with the awareness of it, and how we have traumatic grief today? Because this is something that can completely change that. And when you want to facilitate a sacred end of life experience, number one, learn the skill on how to care for someone who's dying before you need it. That is available for free in 15 languages now from doulagivers.com. Number two, plan ahead. Choose what you would want or not want. There's going to be a part in all of our journeys that comes a place where this beautiful vehicle I've been gifted to have this experience in has run its course. My spirit hasn't, my soul hasn't, but it can't house me anymore. When that space comes, I want to have the wherewithal to know that I can't go down a medical treadmill trying to reverse the inevitable and have it be this frenetic, painful, and often expensive experience for something that's natural and expected. What I can do is make sure that people know that I would like my symptoms managed, to be comfortable, be at home, what's important to me, what I want, my quality of life super high at that point, knowing what that benchmark for me is. And by the way, in my experience, and I have a lot, 80 to 90% of a positive end of life, no matter what the disease process was, is people who planned ahead. People who lived with the awareness that one day the journey would not be the same they know it today. So they lived a very different appreciation of every day. And they had a roadmap and a blueprint for what they wanted or didn't want. And number three, live fully. You don't have to live forever. We just have to live. And it's the regret of people at the end of life that they're pretending it doesn't show up. It's not going to happen. Don't talk about it. It shows up and they go, oh my gosh, I didn't live. That's the regret. So we're not going to let that happen to us. And a doula giver's pearl is the power of your presence is the most powerful medicine that you have to give, not just at the end of life, but in life. That's our choice. How I show up each day with no judgment, being present, being compassionate, knowing that everyone has a story that I don't know about and that I'm not here to judge them, but I'm here to be present with each other. Greatest medicine we have to give each other. And please remember that death is not the end, but a profound transition. I love you all so very much. Bringing back the sacredness of death brings back the sacredness of life. And together, this is how we change the world. Thank you all so much. And there you have it, everyone. Podcast number 10. Again, the Good Death Seminar Series. Death is having a rebirth. There are so many beautiful options we have now. Bringing back the sacredness of death brings back the sacredness of life. And that's why we're here, to be in this together. And if you want to go further, join us for the Good Death Book Club. It is in full swing. We are meeting in global community. People that are showing up to learn about end of life, to learn about life and how to make it the best possible journey for every person in this world. Join us in the Good Death Book Club. The link is below. Thank you so much for listening to Ask a Death Doula. I will see you in the next episode.